everybody, welcome to another episode of Exploring Photography. I am Mark Wallace, and out in this swimming pool is Sandra. Hola, Sandra. We are shooting some swimsuit bikini stuff. Now, in this scenario right here, the sky is very, very dark, and so that's going to allow us to get really nice soft light. But because it's so cloudy, we're not getting really nice contrast. So what I've done here is we are going to add this softbox, and what it's going to do is this softbox is going to light Sandra opposite the sun. So it's just going to be lighting that. So I'll be able to shoot on this side of her, and she's going to look really fantastic. Now, how do we meter all of this stuff? Well, we are using TTL metering. For this situation, I don't have time to run back and forth to meter this stuff with the light meter. The light is changing constantly with the sun and the clouds. In fact, it might start raining here any second. And so in this situation, what I'm going to be doing is I have my Electron set to TTL metering, and just looking at the histogram and what I'm seeing with my eyes, I have adjusted that flash exposure compensation just a little bit more, about 2/3 of a stop. Now, if you don't know what any of that stuff is, I just made a video about the flash exposure diamond and flash exposure compensation, all that kind of stuff. So I'll put a link in the description of this video to that video so you get all the specifics. So what we're going to do now is all about the posing, the camera angle, and how we're going to make this work. Now, let me just explain just for a second the lens that I'm using. This is an 85mm f1.2 lens, and so I'm shooting at about 1.4 or 2.0. So at this distance, we're about 10 feet. The depth of field is enough that I can get both eyes, even if she moves her head. So that's gonna work just fine. If I need to, I can go up to 2.8 or something, but I want the background to fall out of focus. I wanna have a nice swimming pool. I wanna have a beautiful model, but I don't wanna have so much all that trees and all that kind of stuff in the background. So to do that, 85mm at about, I'm shooting at about 1.4 right now in aperture priority mode, flash exposure compensation up by about 2/3 of a stop. I am using face priority metering to make sure that I get a good exposure on Sandra, and then we're just ready to shoot away. By the way, the autofocus is eye autofocus. The shallow depth of field, I want to have the snappiest focus possible. So we're going to shoot with me up a little bit. One of the things I have to really watch out for is behind Sandra, there's this tree back there. And so I need to make sure that's not growing out of the back of her head. So I'm gonna be moving around to make sure that I get that out of the shot. I'm also gonna be shooting down so we get more water. So leave that. I'm now doing something that is totally counterintuitive, and that is I am shooting with a 16 to 35mm wide angle lens, which is something you will almost never do with a setup like this. I've changed this out. Instead of a soft light reflector, a nice softbox, we're using a hard light reflector, and we have a really overcast sky, and so we're able to get away with this look. And so I'm shooting at 2.8, very, very close with this wide angle shot. So let me just show you what this looks like. I'm at about 35mm, something like that. I'm getting all this environmental stuff. It looks really interesting. We have this three-dimensional look where we're being pulled into the shot. This is something I would not normally do with the wide angle lens, but when we were filming the video, I saw it and thought, maybe we can do that with a still. And so that's what we're trying. Don't be afraid to experiment when you're shooting. If you see something that might work, go for it. If it doesn't work, you can always throw it out, but you can't show something that you never shot in the first place. All of these images were edited in Evoto AI. For a deep dive into how I did all of my color correction, blemish removal, skin retouching, everything, make sure you check out that video. I've included a link in the description of this video so you can see exactly how it was done. I think these photos are absolutely fantastic. Sandra, thank you so much. This was a lighting setup that is really, really easy to do. Remember, we just had a softbox that was directional towards Sandra with backlight. with changing clouds, and we use TTL metering. We use some of those tricks that we learned before on balancing flash and ambient light to make sure we dialed things in, and I think we got fantastic results. Hey, if you want to see more of Sandra's work, make sure you check out her Instagram. I have added a link to the description of this video of all of her stuff. Her portfolio is fantastic. Also, make sure you click on the like and subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, why not? Don't miss a single episode. This video is part of a series of videos that we are doing, bikini glamour shots, and so you want to see all of that stuff, so make sure you subscribe. And if you want more in-depth content, you want lengthy in-depth training on photography and post-production and studio lighting, consider becoming a channel member, part of the Snap family. You'll really absolutely love it. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you, and we will see you again next time.